Hello friends, welcome back to Pathshala. Today we will discuss the topic transport of water and minerals. So transport of water and minerals occur in plants via the xylem tissues. Xylem is the part of the vascular bundle in plant transportation system. In previous class we discussed the components of xylem. In that part we discussed that xylem has four main components. First one is xylem trachea or xylem vessels. Second one is xylem trachea, then xylem parenchyma and xylem fiber. Among these four components, xylem trachea and xylem trachea are mainly responsible for absorption of or the transport of water and minerals in plant system. So, absorption of first we discuss the absorption of water. So, the first topic is absorption of water. Actually, the transportation system in plants occur or transportation of water includes three main major events. First one is transportation of water and minerals or absorption of water or minerals. Second one is ascent of sap and third one is transpiration. So let us discuss these topics one by one. First we discuss the absorption of water, then we discuss the uh, absorption of minerals. So the root hair that are present in the root system of plant mainly absorb the water from soil. These are minute hair-like structures. So the root have minute hair-like projections, and these hair-like projections are known as root hair. So these root hairs are permeable. The cell lining or the covering or the membrane of the root hair are very thin, and it also permeable. It is also permeable to water and other minerals also. Because of this thin membrane and the minute structure of the root, it passes through the very less gap in between the soil particles. So, root hair, because its thin membrane present in it, it easily can absorb the water from soil, and the water moves in from root hair to the cortical cells. So, water moves from root hair to the cortical cells, and when the root hair absorbs water, it creates a concentration gradient of ion inside the root hair structure. Means the water ion present in soil and the water ion present in the root hair creates a concentration gradient, so that an osmotic concentration gradient, not the diffusion one. It creates an osmotic concentration gradient. Osmosis means when solutes or when the solute actually uh, transform into or transfer into higher lower concentration medium to higher concentration medium. Means when the solutes transfer in from lower concentration zone to higher concentration zone, it is known as osmosis. And when the solute transfer from higher concentration to lower concentration and make both the solution equal, that process is known as diffusion. But when the solutes transfer from lower concentration gradient to higher one, that process is known as osmosis. So in this case, the osmotic pressure gradient creates, and the root from the water moves from root hair cell to the cortical cells of the root. After that, due to this concentration gradient, the cortical cells transfer the water into the endodermal cells of root. Endodermal cells means the inner dermis, or the membrane of the inner membrane cells. So that is known as endodermal cells of root. So from cortical cell, due to the osmotic pressure gradient, water moves from cortical cells to the endodermal cell, and after that, due to that pressure, the water moves into the vascular bundle, or rather I'll say in the xylem tissue. In xylem, the trachea and the tracheids moves the water. In trachea and tracheid, the water actually moves in upward direction due to the pressure gradient, and the pressure created in the cortical cells that forces the water to enter into the endodermal cell, that pressure is known as the root pressure. Means the pressure that forces the water to rush into the endodermal cells, that pressure is known as the root pressure. Water moves upward direction because of this root pressure, or the pressure created by the osmotic concentration gradient. Now, let us discuss the next topic, that is the absorption of minerals. Absorption of minerals done by the same thing, but the water, in case of water, the water absorption actually done by the root pressure, or the absorption mechanism of the root hair. But in the case of minerals, or the absorption of mineral done by an energy gradient concentration. So energy is required for absorption of minerals. So absorption of minerals also occur through by the root hair. So root hair absorbs minerals via an energy gradient, and this energy gradient requires ATP. So it needs ATP to perform its action, and this mechanism is known as active transport of minerals. So in case of minerals, active transportation occur via the energy concentration gradient and by creation of the ATP. But in case of water, the osmotic pressure gradient that created in between root hair cells and the water present in soil, that forces the water absorbed by the root hair, and the root pressure created in the cortical cells pushes the water to endodermal cell, and this root hair root pressure also uh, responsible for movement of water from endodermal cells to the vascular bundle. Next topic is ascent of sap or upward movement of sap. Means the water absorbed by the root hair required in the process of photosynthesis and to fulfill the demands of the stem cells and the leaf cells. So to fulfill the demand of stems and leaf cells and other parts of the root, the water and water soluble minerals has to move from lower portion to the upper portion, and this includes, or this phenomenon is known as the second phenomenon, that is ascent of sap. Ascent of sap, or rather I'll say the upward movement of sap. Sap is nothing but the mixture of water and minerals. So the ascent of sap actually follows two theories. First theory is root pressure theory, and the next theory is the transpiration pull theory. So first we discuss the root pressure theory. So the first one is first theory is root pressure theory. According to this theory, water and minerals move in from root hair to the upper parts of the body, means in leaves and the stems and the leaves via the osmotic pressure gradient, and the water and the minerals move in upward direction by this root pressure theory. Means an osmotic pressure gradient created in root, that is known as root pressure, and due to this root pressure water moves in upward direction. But this root pressure theory is only applicable to the herbaceous plants. It is not applicable for the tall plants, because in tall plants the water has to move water has to move from very long distance, so it is impossible for water and minerals to move, or the xylem to conduct the movement of water by the root pressure theory. So there, for tall plants there is another theory, that is known as transpiration pull theory. So second theory is the transpiration pull theory. So what is transpiration pull theory? Transpiration, by the mechanism of transpiration, means when the water vaporizes from the leaf cells and the stem cells, that creates a gap, or that creates a vacant place, and due to this creation of vacant place, the water actually move very actively in from root cells to the stem cells or the leaf cells. So due to this transpiration pull theory, or due to the transpiration pressure, the water moves from root to the upper part of the plant, and this is applicable, fully applicable for the tall plants. This theory is only applicable for the herbaceous plants. Means in small plants the root pressure theory is applicable, but in case of tall plants there is transpiration pull that move the water from lower portion of the plant system to the upper shoot system. So thank you so much for today's session. In next class we will discuss the transpiration topic. Thank you so much.